Mrs. Kim Dixon, principal at Madison County Central School. We also have two students from Madison County Central School. Lillian Washington is a 7th grade student at Madison County Central School. She is the daughter of Billy and Kara Washington. We also have Amari Alexander, who is a 7th grade student at Madison County Central School. She is the daughter of Tresca Hubbard Alexander and Maurice Alexander. They will be doing our prayer and pledge tonight. Please stand.
Lord, we come to you this evening to ask for thanks for making it possible for those that are here to make it here safely. And please just watch over the workers of the Madison County School District and make it possible to where they can focus on their jobs to help all the kids and help improve our county. And I hope all of those at home intending to come that weren't able to make it are safe. And I hope we can have a peaceful meeting and afterwards everyone can make it home safe. In your son Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, girls. We hope you'll visit us another time. Welcome to the December 17, 2018 school board meeting. We have a recognition of Madison County High School HSHT. Dr. Pickles?
High School High Tech.
High School High Tech.
Yes. Back up. I just want to read a statement that was sent. Ms. Colleen Agner and unfortunately Mr. Michael Rager was not able to be here this evening, but they were recognized for their
Excuse me, please.
both for their dedication and commitment to the high school high-tech program. And so they were recognized and presented this award back over the summer, or a couple months ago. So we would just like to now actually formally congratulate them at our board meeting. So, but we appreciate all the hard work that they do. So, and I hope you guys happen to see the plaque that we're given. The award that we're given.
That's nice.
Thank you. Very nice, very heavy too. So display it proudly. We appreciate all you do for our students.
Thank you very much. I had the opportunity to know Mr. Radel at the high school when I was teaching there, and I saw what he did, and you are much appreciated. We have from Madison County, Florida, annual storytelling celebration update from Ms. Wanda Violet.
I want to thank Dr. Pickles for allowing me to be on the agenda, and I appreciate the 25 minutes that you've allotted. I wanted to just update you, report to you about our event. This was our 5th annual, and it went really well. Tremendous turnout, huge participation, and wonderful feedback from folks who came. I heard the expression community, sense of community, more this year than I've ever heard before. People said that our event gave them a feeling of people coming together. I almost cried because I kept hearing that from different folks. A lady came from Orlando and said that, and some local people did too. And they said the president of the Florida Storytelling Association came, sat there the whole day, and participated, and she said that she had never seen a storytelling event like ours, and how we allowed the county and the community and the area to embrace our event and to mold it and push it and give it its character. And that thrilled me too, and that's been, kind of the direction that we've been trying to go. I'm here to try to stimulate your thoughts here about what's going on, because some of you have never been, and some of you have been, and you know the wonderful things that take place there, don't you? And you know the children that we've been able to provide an opportunity for. I do want to thank the school district for allowing me to invite the children and to be part of this. It's our biggest reward. I was at Down Home Days last year before this, and a little girl comes running up behind me and throws her arms around me. I don't have children here. I miss getting hugs. My babies are in St. Augustine. And I turned around, and it was one of my little storytellers. What a privilege that is for me. So because I got to know her and her family and her story, I'm now connected to her. Now that's the power of storytelling. And so you can see, if you glance through our brochure, that we heard stories from all kinds of people, young and old. We always bring in professional tellers. But we do make sure that we hear from folks in the town. We heard from Billy Washington about some of his experience when he was in the military, a dynamite story. I'll never forget it. You should get him to tell you it one day. We heard from Wally Davis one year where he told us that one adult changed his life when he was a teenager. He was a stutterer and was very shy. And she pretended like the Future Farmers leader or something, she pretended that she had a bad throat, and said, "You'll have to go do it." Well, he'd never spoken much more than a whisper and a few words, but he had to do it. And she had done that on purpose, because for the first time, he stood up and communicated with people. And that's the power of being on the stage and telling people. He said that day changed his life. We like to think and hope that some of our students and the opportunity they have, that their lives are being affected perhaps for the better and changed and empowered. Now, it's more than just getting them an opportunity to be on a stage, though that's critical. It's also a chance to hear their story, for them to realize that their story is important. The story of the little girl who, for the first time, got to feel a whale, a beautiful, big, giant, black and white whale. And you know that story, don't you, Miss Bell? Yes. A student who talked about the terrible, terrible day he had all day long fishing with his father, and he told us about all the things that went on. But then at the end, he was able to say, "But it didn't matter. I was with my dad." And so you learn about these people, and they learn that their experiences and their personal feelings are important, and they're validated on that stage when adults just like you and us are sitting there listening to them. So I could go on with all the different examples of different types of stories. I ain't from around here, as they say, and I've gotten to meet people and know them. And I feel a connection to the community because of storytelling. So, why am I here with you? Number one, to invite you to participate and be with us next year. Number two, I'm not here to ask for money. I thought I would hear a collective sigh of relief. But I am asking you to think of how you can help us get into the schools and how you can help us provide this opportunity for children. The power of storytelling and telling their story to the community out loud, at large, is gargantuan. And our teachers are overwhelmed. It's very, very hard for them to figure out a way to be able to coordinate this. But I will tell you, the school at Greenville always, every year, finds a way somehow to have their children get involved in this. And they hung in there and had two good representatives this year. And I think Michael took a toll on us this year, the hurricane, took a toll on what was going on in the school day. So it was hard on the teachers. But I guess if I were going to ask for something in particular, I would like to ask that maybe somehow that we could have I could have some advisors or from your team here or something that would work with us and talk with us about how we can make this thing grow and continue our efforts as we work so hard to bring our community together through the power of story. Any comments or questions that I could answer, and I'll let you go, even though I didn't use the whole 25 minutes, Dr. Pickles.
I know for a fact that you go into the schools and you work with the individual children. I know you've gone into all the schools, and it's much appreciated. And I'm sure we can encourage participation, as best as we can. The teachers do have a lot going on, but this is a very important thing as far as I'm concerned.
Thank you.
I appreciate what you do.
Thank you very much. Is there anything else? Well, I thank you for your time. I really do. Appreciate it.
Thank you for coming. Okay, number 2, amendments to the agenda. We do have an amendment to the joint use agreement with the Church of God. We'll put that at 4.8 under consent. Public comment. The Sunshine Law requires that the school board meet and perform its duties in public. This meeting in public is an opportunity for the board to discuss and make decisions around its slated agenda. Citizens have the right to observe the meeting and hear all comments made by board members. School board meetings are not, however, a meeting of the public, an opportunity for the public to comment during meetings. On behalf of my fellow board members, at this time, I would like to invite and encourage members of the audience to sign up regarding district issues. Please begin by stating your name. You will be limited to 3 minutes. We will not be acting on the issues tonight unless they are part of the agenda. Thank you for attending and supporting the Madison County School System. Number 4, consent agenda items. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Madam Chair, I move to accept the consent agenda items.
Second.
We have a motion by Mr. Daniels, seconded by Ms. Bell?
Ms. Williamson?
Ms. Williamson, to approve the consent agenda. Any discussion? By a show of hands, all in favor? Oppose? Becky, 5-0. Number 5, items for individual consideration. 5.1, staff trips. General, Dr. Pickles?
There's none at this time.
5.2, student field trips.
We have 4, all at the high school level. So we have 2 of the basketball, 1 girls and 1 boys, so they have 2 that will be over the break. And then the other 2 will be early January, the CTE program, and then coaches connect for the football, for their leaders and their coaches, so for their seniors. And I do recommend approval.
Is there a motion to approve student field trips out of county?
I'll make the motion to approve the out-of-county field trips.
Second.
We have a motion by Ms. Williamson, seconded by Ms. Bell, to approve out-of-county student field trips as recommended by Dr. Pickles. Any discussion or questions? By a show of hands, all in favor? Oppose? 5-0, Ms. Becky. 5.3, district-wide after-school tutoring. Ms. Roderick? Good evening.
In the Title I budget, we had allocated a little over $90,000 for after-school tutoring for district-wide to help get ready for FSA and EOCs. So we have about 27 teachers that can go from K through 12, whatever the focus would be, as far as usually it's 3 through 12 for the EOCs and FSA, that we can allocate to start after school tutoring. Sam, what date did we decide?
Second,
What date did we?
January 14th, I believe it was.
it's an hour and a half a day, for 3 days a week, starting January 14th, running through May 17th. The estimated cost of just for, out of the 90,000 she referenced, our cost would be just over $72,000. That's going to leave her surplus of almost $18,000.
And we'll do an amendment for some of the needs that the schools are asking for some technology related and hands-on science.
Sounds good. Is there a motion to approve district-wide after-school tutoring?
I make the motion to approve the after-school tutoring.
I second it.
All right, we have a motion by Mr. Alford, seconded by Mrs. Bell, to approve the district-wide after-school tutoring. Any discussion or questions? I've got a question. Will this be where will this take place?
It'll be at each school campus.
Oh, okay. Kindergarten through 12th grade?
If it's gonna be based on the principal's desired needs. So if they
Oh.
feel that it's needed for kindergarten, they can.
All right. Any questions or concerns? All right, by a show of hands, all in favor? Oppose? 5-0, Miss Becky.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming up. 5.4, policy updates, version 18.1. Mr. Stallnaker?
Madam Chairman, if I may, if I can stay here,
Sure.
in case there's anything we need to change, I can put it on the screen. And
That's
make the
fine.
change. But in your packets, and we talked about version 18.1, and those have been advertised, and in your question or any edits you would like for me to make at this time, or public comment, we'd like for your approval on those edits.
Is there a motion to approve the policy updates, version 8?
Public hearing.
Oh,
Public hearing.
excuse me. Well, at this time, we'll have our public hearing.
Madam Chairman, once you've waited a reasonable time, you can close the public hearing.
Okay, well, I think we'll close the public hearing then. Doesn't look like we have, okay. All right.
And then you do a motion second, a vote.
The same, okay. All right, is there a motion to approve the policy version, updates version 18.1?
Madam Chair, I move to accept the policy update.
All right, second.
Second.
All right, we have a motion by Mr. Daniels, seconded by Ms. Williamson to approve the policy updates. Any discussion or questions? By a show of hands, all in favor? Oppose? Becky, 5-0. 5.5, MCEA contract updates. Mr. Stallnaker?
Madam Chairman, back in November the 20th, the board approved the items that we TA'd for the contract. However, in our discussions with the union, we did not approve, or we did not TA the preamble, which dates the time of the date it was actually approved, nor did we approve the term of agreement. But the preamble, the only difference in that and the contract is going to show 4 December 2018 as the date. And the term of agreement, once everybody signs off, will be December 4th, 2018 through June 30th, 2021. And that will be the same for both contracts.
All right. Is there a motion to approve the MCEA contract updates?
I make the motion to approve the contract updates.
Second.
Second.
We have a motion by Mr. Alford, second by Mr. Daniels to approve the MCEA contract updates. Any question, any discussion, questions for Mr. Stallnaker? By a show of hands, all in favor? Oppose? Becky, 5-0. Thank you, Mr. Stallnaker. 5.6, personnel changes. Dr. Pickles?
In your packet, you have your personnel recommendations. You'll see there are 2 instructional changes and 1 non-instructional recommendation. And then there's a request for a transfer. And then there's a couple, or 4 to be exact, leave of absences, and then several resignations. And I do ask that you approve each of them.
Is there a motion to approve personnel changes?
I make the motion to approve the personnel changes.
Second.
Second.
We have a motion by Mr. Alford, second by Ms. Bell, to approve the contracts, personnel changes. Any discussion, questions? How many vacancies do we have right now?
The vacancies?
Yes,
We have 3 elementaries at the central school,
okay.
1 middle school at the central school. We're only going to fill 2 of those vacancies at the central school. And right now, we have none at the high school construction.
Okay, thank you.
So we're only going to fill how many at Central?
2.
2. When do we expect those to be filled by?
She has the packet right now, and as soon as she gets through screening the packet, the intent is to have them in place at the beginning of the school year after Christmas.
By a show of hands, all in favor of personnel changes? Opposed? 5-0, Ms. Becky. 5.7, monthly financial reports, Mr. Copeland.
If you don't mind, I would like to bring it up again on the overhead. It makes it a little easier, I think.
Yeah.
Working back and forth. And I will blow this up so hopefully you can all see it. I'll make this one bigger on PDF. What I've done here is we'll start with our table of contents. We have the operating summary for the general fund by function. Page 2 will be a summary by object. And then I have provided the November check register, and this will be for all funds. And this will be, I can email you all a copy of this and get you a printout also. It'll be everything excluding payroll checks. That would be,
Yeah, I'd like a printout, please.
I'll have
Yeah,
it to you.
yeah.
I just put it with my whole package here, but right here on the operating summary by function, you'll see year-to-date activity. Remember, we're fiscal year November. We're 5 months into the year. Our budget is revenue right here, and our actual revenues booked through November, the first 5 months. So a little over $8 million in revenues, and you see the breakdown here, the 39, that's Medicaid reimbursement. This is the state FEFP funds. And you can see here this amounts up quite a bit over last month. We did receive in November a deposit on our local taxes. So even though we're 41.67% into the fiscal year, we've received 37% of the revenues. And I always like to point that out because I try to levelize the budget, or level the budget so you can note that there is timing differences. And if you come on down on the expenditures here, instruction, you'll see at 38.2% of our budget through the first 5 months. And again, keep in mind that we're 41.67% into the year. Pupil services, instruction and curriculum, everything else is trending somewhat in line. But if you get here to general administration, you'll see we're at 62.7%, which is over. The reconciling item on that is where our insurance premiums on our property liability, workers' comp, are booked be an adjustment to that. We will end up reducing that expenditure, and it will come against the transfers in from our local capital improvement funds, because statute allows us to pay a portion of our property and casualty insurance based on our number of FTE with our local capital improvement funds, and we just normally we book that near the end of the year. So don't be alarmed by that at this time. Keep on going down here. It's again, we're a little over on some things, and we had explained right here on administrative technology, we had a lot of upgrades that hit. We still had in the pipeline at the beginning of this fiscal year. We're going to need to do a budget revision on that line there and on a few other lines, but that should not keep trending up like that. It's kind of things that we kind of misbudgeted on, but they were early in the year, so we'll do a revision there, and that should level off as we go forward. If you come over here to the right, I want to show you, I just kind of like if we did, for 5 months into the year, this is what the actual budgeted revenues and budgeted expenses would be based on a level budget. So you can see our revenues are a little bit under, and that's due to our property taxes. We received some big property tax deposits in December, so we made that difference up, and you'll see that level off going forward. You can see here that we're actually under on our instructional expenditures over what a 5-month level budget would be based on our total annual budget. That should trend like that until July. We should be under budget because in July we have the payroll where we pay off our instructors' contracts, and so you're going to see a lot larger payroll in July. So that should trend as it has. But we're at a deficit for the first 5 months, but if we leveled everything off, considering I don't think our budget, I don't see any major revisions to our budget right now. We do have some, but if everything was perfect based on timing, we'd be a little bit at an excess. So I hope that made some sense, but I don't want you to be alarmed by all the timing differences we have as we are still 5 months into the year. If you go to the next one, it's the same report basically. Your revenues, this is broken down by object code, so you can see a little different breakout. You can see just a second. Apparently I printed the same one twice. I'll get y'all that copy. But right now, our budget, if you look at our budget right here, again, I don't see any, we are going to have to do a budget revision on our revenues to reflect a little bit of the FTE reduction. We also are going to be able to do a budget revision on our revenues as we're receiving $300,000 plus or minus near the end of February for health insurance rebates due to our strong loss runs on health insurance. That's going to be a mitigating factor on the reduction to the FTE. We're in the process now of scrubbing the expenditure lines and identifying any other budget revisions and amendments that we need to make, and we'll do those in the coming month. This would put It's the way I see it right now, we're still in line to hit the 4.7 plus or minus on our end of year projected fund balance unrestricted. Again, that is not audited. I can't stand by that and say that's what's going to happen. But that's what we budgeted, and I don't see at this point any major variances. We're looking out 6 months in a year, and we still have to identify the cost reductions as all of us have spoken. Our fund balance that we projected as unrestricted, we've been able to mitigate that by spending out of the categoricals, but you're still in the danger of being in a deficit situation when your payroll goes up an amount due to automatic steps and your revenues from the state don't offset that amount. And that's what we dealt with the prior years, and we dealt with this year with a $260,000 plus automatic step increase, payroll and benefits, with about 80% of that being general fund expended. So we have to be very careful, and we've made some changes on our health insurance, and we're looking at the best way to navigate that, because we are almost we're 3 or 4 months into our new policy, and there's a lot of things to think through before we just go and do another renewal, so we can talk about that more. I'm confident that's an area that we're going to save some money in going forward. When I promise that, no. But I can share with y'all that our district has had some of the best loss runs on our health insurance as I've ever seen anywhere. And so we need to be sure our premiums reflect that with our carriers. And we're working on that. So.
Mr. Copeland, could you refresh my memory? $100,000 increment on the fund balance is what percentage? 0.5%? A 0.5%. 0.5%.
And again, that's a moving target, but that's a good.
So when we come to the table, I mean, as a board, we probably should be looking at cutting probably 200,000 to get at least 1%.
But you have to remember, we have those automatic steps.
So maybe
So,
2 1/4 or 2.5.
That's 250 right there come July 1.
Maybe
That's
300.
an automatic.
Maybe 300,000.
So
I mean, I
you're
guess-
gonna have that
I guess
in
from
automatic.
what I'm saying is, Mr. Copeland, we may need guidance at what monetary amount we'll have to look at to cut, whether it's 400,000, 500,000. We need to know because Dr. Pickles made a great point. I mean, the 250 is right where we have got to be. It's got to be on top of the 250.
I'm anticipating at least 500,000.
500?
Because 250 is gonna eat up half of that.
Right. No, I agree. I mean, we just need to go ahead and set it and know where we have to cut.
Yeah, there's only certain, we're looking at every option and everything we can do, from copier contracts to this and that, but again, that's not your meat and potatoes.
It's not.
And,
We need to cut those also, but it's going to have to be with programs and people.
right, and we do have on the attrition that we can foresee in the next year due to people being in the drop and stuff. We do have some changes that will happen that if you do replace those positions, they're going to be at a substantially lower rate. So a lot of it, we still, regardless, we've got to identify
Right.
now, because if we don't, we won't have the time to recoup those expenses. It'll be right at the end. And but I'm working on a forecast to better identify what's coming down the pipe, and a more definitive figure of what needs to be
And
produced.
for those who are viewing this, would you explain the FTE reduction that you mentioned?
Right. We
So
have-
people will understand what you're talking, you know.
We have an FTE reduction in the transportation area, which we worked hard to identify why we had that reduction, and we had some mitigating factors that we went in and amended, but we're still gonna have somewhere around 80 to 90 FTE reduction on the transportation side.
That's $90,000.
Okay.
$90,000. We
That's-
also have an overall FTE reduction based, and it's somewhere, last I checked with Shane, and we're going back and forth around 80 also, so it's,
And that means less money.
that means
Correct.
That's what it boils down to.
less money, and we looked at it every way we could, between charters and between, but it's just is what it is. I want people moving out of the county or what.
And that's this year. That's not next year.
Right.
That's,
Based
that's,
on- yes.
that's coming January,
Well, with,
January,
so-
February.
so
with that being said, if we follow our staffing allocation based upon students, if we have less students, then we need to have less people.
Correct.
I mean, that's the bottom line. That's what gets us in trouble, is if we're continuing to function with the staff based on student population X, and we're now at student population Y, and it's
This
less.
is correct.
So that's what we need to follow the empirical data and have to make the choice, or the cuts based upon that.
Are there a lot of people coming up at the end of their drop time for this year, or?
Ms. Williamson, I do have the summary
I
list.
think there's only 3 or 4. There's not that many that are,
Got some to a couple of years out that are on there, but
it sits right on my desk.
Yeah, we'd like to have that information, just to
We
know.
will have all that for
Okay, yeah.
when we meet.
Walter, how are we looking as far as the safe schools and, you know, the finances as far as the SROs in that program?
we've done a pretty good job of where we had to add the SROs. We didn't incur a lot of incremental costs because, we received the additional funds. So it reflects higher expenditures on here through your facilities line there, because that's where we run it through, but you're offsetting revenues designated to the safe schools. After we got through the negotiations, it really didn't have a big,
I was gonna say, if you'll scroll down, I mean, I pretty much estimated, I don't know where it is on there. I mean, I pretty much estimated our categorical when I met with the sheriff and showed him what our portion would be after we give our portion to the charter school. And that's how we wrote our contract and our agreement with the county and the sheriff. So that money just pretty much funnels right through us. It comes to us and then they bill us
and
quarterly, I believe.
they
They're
bill us,
billing us
we pay quarterly, and the other thing, if y'all recall, we did last year is any of the deputies working contract over and above our SROs at any of the events, they are now, and they have been paid this past year from the school's internal funds. So we're reimbursed for that, and we keep it level. So it's not big numbers, but it helps.
Oh yeah, it was a big problem when they weren't doing that. A huge problem.
Is there a motion to approve the monthly financial reports?
I make the motion to approve the monthly financial reports.
Second?
Second.
We have a,
On the administrative technology, Mr. Copeland, that you're already at 123%, don't we need a budget amendment for that?
Well, that's what I mentioned earlier, that's gonna be a budget amendment and we're gonna have a few more.
Okay.
And, we're
So
still in the,
bring that in January.
right, we're still in the time frame to get them done. I just, again, we've got to sit down and.
Okay.
Right.
Gotcha.
We'll have several. That'll be
Sure.
forthcoming.
Thank you. We have a motion by Mr. Alford, second by Ms. Bell, was it? Ms. Williamson. Can't hear down here sometimes. And to approve the monthly financial reports. Any further discussion or questions for Mr. Copeland?
Mr. Copeland, can we get a copy of the check register either by email or,
Yes, I'm gonna email you this whole package. I've got.
Okay.
I identified one error I had, and I've got,
Okay.
it's not significant to anything I did. But I will email that to y'all before I leave tonight.
Well, thank you
Thank
for
you.
all that you do. We appreciate it, and we know you're trying to save us money, which is good. Any other questions for Mr. Copeland? By a show of hands, all in favor? Oppose? 5-0, Ms. Becky. Let's see. 5.8, request for proposals. Mr. Copeland?
All right. This is in regards to our health insurance and our broker that we have decided to make a change after a lot of analysis and meeting and working with other folks. And what we want to do is go ahead and move with the broker changes as we have identified, and then we're working with them to identify the best approach to the RFP process. At the end of the day, we're going to get two reasonable quotes. No matter who we go with, it's going to be with United Healthcare, and it's going to be Blue Cross Blue Shield. There's just nobody that's in this market right now that can service you. But we've identified some things that we really felt like we could have done better on, and we feel like with our strong loss runs and a somewhat antiquated policy type that we're in, we need to look at making a move or getting proposals from the carriers. And it may be that we do that short year, which means March, if it's doable, but we would have a formal RFP at that point for a carrier RFP, not a broker, that we would bring before y'all, the board, and put out there. It's difficult to do that mid-year. Our renewals are in October, but we're also at a situation where I'd rather go through some heartburn and have 6 months of savings than wait till next October. A lot of things to think through there. Again, we're getting a rebate at the end of February of around $300,000. I don't want to get on another plan to where we bank on rebates. It's hard to manage your insurance. I want our premiums low enough to where we don't have a rebate. And we have a good group in here now that we're working with, and we will introduce them to y'all on the broker side. And I feel like it's going to be a positive. And I wish I'd have done a little more analysis early on a year ago, but it was an area that I was working on other things. Karen, Dr. Pickles,
No, you covered it all.
good
Yeah.
with the approach?
Do you have any questions? It's another cost savings measure, and hopefully we can have lower insurance premiums for our employees.
That would be wonderful for the employees.
no, I want to go with the cheapest person. I mean, again,
Well,
Yeah.
y'all keep in mind, just real quick, we just received our loss runs on our health insurance for the past 12 months, Friday a week ago. We were at 58%. Prior year, we were at 58%. That's just unheard of. other districts are at 90, 100, and we need to get a little stronger. This isn't a broker pricing issue. They all charge the same, 2.5%, 3%. It's getting the right negotiation power with the carrier and making them understand, we understand what's going on, and we're not going to pay like this.
Thank you for checking into that, Mr. Copeland.
Are we still doing the HIP, or is that something we're not going?
We are still
At the moment, yes.
doing the HIP, and I'll be glad to share anything I can share one-on-one with the board in the open or whatever, but it is a plan, in my opinion, and from talking to the other folks I've worked with over the years, I just...
I would be curious, Mr. Copeland,
for
if we could have like, where the board could see with data, like how many people have used that over the last year.
That's been a problem.
And if they're not using it, then by no means do we need to keep on paying it.
We don't, in my opinion, we don't need the HIP plan the way it is right now if everyone was on it.
Right.
And so we have...
How much of a savings would that be?
That's where we've also run into an issue. We're paying, the premiums allocated to our HIP plan from our carrier currently are around $500,000 a year.
Wow.
It's a little confusing because if you take the HIP away, you're not going to get a one-for-one reduction in your premiums, but you should get a reduction. There's only 2 districts I can find anywhere that are still utilizing this plan, and they've also been getting hammered on for not putting out RFPs. I've reached out to both of them, so I think we've got a good plan going forward, and we'll work with the insurance committee. We'll go through the channels, and
Just out of curiosity, if you could present how many people have even utilized it the past year, or the past 2 years, 3 years. Now, I would bet it would be less than a handful.
Mr. Alford, I'm just laying it out there. I cannot get loss runs from my prior broker or from my carrier.
So,
Will not provide them.
so
They
no
don't
one's,
have to provide them, but I can tell you right now, nobody's utilizing them.
yeah.
Nobody.
Maybe
And
one
we're
or
paying
two every
for it.
once in a while.
So someone's making it on our payments, but yet we're not getting anything out of it.
It is, years ago, it was used to subsidize what the carriers had to have as a total premium.
Right. And it's probably something that was done, say, I mean, since I've been on the board, I think it's been on there, say, the last 20 years, and it's just something that's carried over, and it's been part of the package that you would pay each year.
And I'm sure at the time it made perfectly good sense. It's just, we don't have the money to hire a consultant. We need our broker to be our consultant. And then, again, I should have been more vigilant on that side earlier in my career, but we caught up with it now, so we're going to
Deal with it.
But the broker would probably be getting 1% of what we're paying.
That's correct.
So I don't know that it would be in their bet.
What I'm saying is, no, we can't rely on them
Right.
without trusting and verifying.
Right, because of course they would want us to do it because they're getting,
Bottom line,
They're getting some money.
bottom line, they work for us, and we
Right.
just do not feel like the
yeah,
present broker has been working diligently on our behalf.
I have concerns over the HIP, and I think we need to look at it because that's a lot of money that when we're sitting here having to look at cutting $500,000 in our budget, that's a lot of money where no one's utilizing it. Working on that.
I'm totally with you, and we will get y'all some, we're already in the process of working on that.
Thank you.
I just want my broker to give me a heads up.
We need somebody working on our behalf.
On our behalf,
Believe
that's
me,
right.
I'll
Out for
check
us.
behind them but we can do a better job. We need to make it.
Right.
We need to make it
I'm all for, I'm all for it.
Is there a motion to approve the request for proposals?
I make the motion to approve the request.
We have a,
And
we have a-
actually, you're approving the change of broker.
well,
I make-
yes,
And
actually,
then-
well, Mr. Copeland's changes, right?
I would phrase it as
broker change.
approving the change for the broker and then authorizing the broker to do the RFP.
Okay.
Okay, I make the motion to approve the change of broker and approve the broker to make the RFP.
Okay. We have a motion by Mr. Alfred, second.
Second.
All right, we have a motion by Mr. Alfred, second by Ms. Williamson to approve the request for proposals and change of broker and to make, and the broker will make the
RFP.
RFP. All right, any further questions or discussions for Mr. Copeland? Any comments? By a show of hands, all in favor? Opposed? Becky, 5-0. 6, other items of interest, superintendent items. Dr. Pickles?
Last week, I guess last Wednesday's county commission meeting, our county commissioners drafted a resolution, and it's uploaded for you so you can read it, but recognizing our football team for their demonstrated excellence in athletics and their demonstrated excellence by winning back-to-back state championship and earning the respect and admiration of the citizens of Madison County. And they presented this resolution to the coaches and the team yesterday on the courthouse steps after the parade. So I'm not sure how many of you were there and able to attend, but the football team was selling T-shirts and trying to raise money for their rings. Another ring to display. So out in the cold and everything, so they were being celebrated. And then the reunion organization up at the Smith Mansion, Smith House, also wanted to recognize them, so they had a nice little presentation and talk about the team and all of their accomplishments. So our team is being recognized right now for their back-to-back, first time in school history. So I think you'll see a lot of this going on right now. And so it was very nice yesterday. They had the mansion all decorated. They had Santa there. And very nice event yesterday. It was cold out there. And I sent you a couple emails today. I watched the State Board of Education meeting for about 2.5 hours today. And Speaker Richard Corcoran is Florida's next Commissioner of Education. So we'll see what's going to happen as we move forward with our changes in education. So, and I want to wish all of y'all a Merry Christmas next week. And I'm glad Miss Susie's out of the hospital. And I'm glad I'm over my bronchitis thanks to Mr. Tommy's wife. She took care of me, gave me antibiotics. So I'm back on my road to mend. And Miss Carol's healing from her fall. So we're all falling apart over here. So, but I do want to wish y'all all a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Thank you,
That's
Dr. Pickles. Mr. Reeves?
Nothing other than wish everybody happy holidays, unless there are any questions of me.
Any questions for Mr. Reeves?
None.
All right, school board members, Ms. Williamson?
No, everybody have a safe and happy holiday.
Thank you. Ms. Bell?
I would like to say congratulations for the back-to-back victory for the Cowboys. I also would like to say about the storytelling. It's very interesting, so we need to get more involved because my daughter was involved and she loved it. I look forward to working with her, Miss Fowler. And I want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Thank you. Mr. Alfred?
I'd like to wish everyone in the district a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, to congratulate the football team on their state championship, the band, cheerleaders, and football team. All have had a good year this year. I attended the recognition at the mansion yesterday for the football team. It was nice. The band was there selling chili, and it was very cold, as Dr. Pickles said. And again, I want all the board members to be thinking of ways that where these cuts are going to come from for our retreat, because again, when it comes down to having to cut that amount of money, Ms. Williamson and I have had to cut it before, but it's going to be salary, it's going to be people, not saving on electricity here and there. I mean, you've got to come up with money, and it's going to have to be hard decisions, and we need the data of students and places and ways that we can cut. And I want to say that I've reimbursed the district for my travel to Tampa, this $874 for our trip in November.
Mr. Daniels?
I'd like to also congratulate the football team and everybody involved for making a back-to-back run this year. Also, I guess the flip side of that is, there was a list of SRP recipients came out today, and I definitely wanted to congratulate them. They are the behind-the-scenes nuts and bolts, if you will, that kind of holds the district together. They don't get a whole lot of recognition. The secretaries, the janitors, the bus drivers, and I just wanted to just specially recognize them, because I don't think they get the pats on the back that they typically deserve or get or should get. So I congratulate all of them, and I'm thankful as well for the storytelling opportunity that was presented today as well. And I wish everybody Merry Christmas, Happy New Year.
Thank you. I'd also like to congratulate the coaches for what they've done with the boys this year on the football team. Wonderful. The band has done a fabulous job also this year. I also reimbursed the district for $982 for the conference in Tampa that I went to this past November. And please join me in congratulating the following SRPs, that's the school-related people of the year. Each will be recognized at a luncheon on January 24th. At the district office, we have Reuben Graham, Greenville Elementary School, Teresa Jennings, James Madison Preparatory, Margaret Johnson, Lee Elementary School, Laura Croft, Madison County Central School, Betsy Cruz, Madison County High School, Kathy Craddock, Madison Creative Arts, Carlissa Cherry, Pinetta Elementary School, Missy French, Transportation, Rose Smith. And I'll go along with you, Mr. Daniels. They are behind the scenes, but they're just as valuable as any employee that we have. I'd like to wish everyone a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and we'll see you in January. Thank you. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Mr. Alfred, second by Ms. Williamson. Meeting is adjourned. Thank you.